Blog Talk Radio.
The next time you need auto parts and accessories, trust the parts professionals at the 42 Charlotte area O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Our professional parts people know what it takes to get the job done right. Professionals have counted on O'Reilly Auto Parts for decades. Now you can too. Professional parts people, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Good morning, good
Blog
afternoon,
Talk
good evening.
Radio.
Hello, wherever you are, whatever time zone you are in, or whenever you're listening to this show. My name is Wendy Cassera, and I am the hostess of the Money and More Network, where we talk about your success and whatever that looks like to you. As I stated, I'm Wendy Cassera. I'm the owner of Taxpectations. We do bookkeeping, accounting, and all things taxes. As the website said, all roads lead to taxes. And today we're going to be talking about taxes, so that's really super exciting. Taxpectations can be found on the website, www.taxpectations.com, or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or any of those other wonderful social media places. Wherever you are, that's where we are. And if you have any questions, issues, queries, posers, you give us a call, send us an email, and we will do our best to go over that with you. As you are aware or not aware, all of our first consultation is always free, and we love to sit down and help people with their issues. I actually got an email this week from a lady who lives in New Zealand. International questions. She makes money here in the States, but she's a resident of New Zealand, and she had the questions about her taxes and the forms she needs to file and all that, and it was really super awesome to be able to answer her questions and help her, where she had actually gone into the IRS office there in New Zealand, and the lady there said she was not equipped to handle her questions. Thought that was kind of interesting. United States IRS office in New Zealand couldn't help her with international questions. So, and we're going to talk some more about the IRS office today, because today's going to be all about taxes, and more tax stuff. But as we like to start our show with a quote, I'm going to do that now. And I'm looking around for some just nice inspirational quotes. Life is so much brighter when we focus on what truly matters, and it needs to matter. What truly matters needs to matter to us, not to somebody else. And that's what'll make us brighter, and that's what'll make us more happy. The next one, happiness, is found when you stop comparing yourself to others, because you are you, and there's only one you. And I love the way Dr. Seuss put that, and I should have grabbed that one up, because that's one of my favorite quotes too. But Dr. Seuss, super genius. Anyhow, the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Just really cool. Today I decided we were going to talk some tax stuff. There's so much going on in the tax world. I've been doing a lot of money things with budgeting and keeping track of your money and all of that sort of thing. Please listen to my older shows to get a review of that. You might learn some new tidbits you might have missed. All the shows are recorded, so you can always go back and listen again. At any rate, today we're going to just kind of be talking about some news about taxes and some other things. Washington Post posted a story this week. The House Appropriations Subcommittee put up a bill to give the IRS $10.1 billion. And you're thinking to yourself, ooh, that's a lot. But it's actually $838 million below the current level that they have. Now, with all the problems that the IRS is having because they don't have enough people now to take care of things, let's give them less. However, they're saying that the bill will earmark a certain percentage of that money that has to go to improve the IRS's abilities to answer the phone and take correspondence from taxpayers. So they're supposed to take some of that money and specially use it for that purpose. So that should be quite interesting. This bill that they have presented also is supposed or presented is also supposed to prevent the IRS from enforcing the individual mandate under the Affordable Care Act. Very, very interesting. There was so much controversy with this earlier on, where it was supposed to be that the IRS wasn't supposed to enforce it at all. And if any of you got your taxes done, and you should have, if you have not got your taxes done, you should be calling me so that I can get them done for you. At any rate, when you got your taxes done, if you didn't have insurance, part of your tax payment went towards that individual shared responsibility payment. So, wondering what they're going to do with that. It should be interesting. Should always be interesting. There's always interesting things going on. So another thing that ran across from the IRS and the House has been pretty busy. The House passed a permanent ban on internet access tax. In other words, your cable, your internet bill, they can't tax you just for getting on the internet. Now, that's not to say that all those things on the internet are not going to be taxed. You know, they're still batting back and forth and running around and attempting to decide what they're going to do about taxing online sales. And the states are really, really bullying for that, because that will get a lot of sales tax for the individual states and localities. Sales tax is a very, very big thing. And with the fact that the online sales are increasing and increasing exponentially, did I say that right? I never know if I'm going to say that word right. All the time, there is a lot of sales online that are not being taxed, because, you know, you order something from Arizona and you live in North Carolina and they don't tax you on it. And so those states are losing a lot of those taxes. So they're attempting to figure it all out so that they can get more money on that. And they'll come up with a plan, and we'll sit back and go, really? Because that's what we do when the IRS, the House Subcommittee, and other government officials come up with a plan for what we should do with our money, which, you know, is really the basis for why I do what I do. Because a lot of you probably haven't heard the story of why I do what I do, but the short version of it basically is that I'm a small business owner myself, and I take care of the bookkeeping and consulting, taxes, etc., for a lot of other small business owners. It is just really a shame. We know how hard we work. We're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week if we're lucky, and you work really hard to get that money. And if you don't have, you got into business to do what you wanted to do, to live your dreams, live and make a product that you believe in, or offer a service that you really enjoy doing. And to have that dream taken away or threatened or in any way diminished because you have to pay so much in to the government and taxes is a shame. So it's my job, and I use the word job loosely because it's my passion, really, to be able to do what I can, keep up with these laws and tax changes and things, and be able to help you save on the tax liability, to get the lowest tax liability at all possible so that you can continue doing what it is you do. It's not your job to know what all the tax laws are and to figure out how to do everything just so that you have a lower tax liability. That's mine. That's what I do. I love. So that's just a short version of why I do what I do. Anyhow, off onto another subject. You know, I wanted to talk a little bit about identity theft. They are really attempting to cut down and work on what to do about identity theft. And the IRS has put a section on their website on IRS, industry, and states take new steps together to fight identity theft and protect taxpayers. they really are doing a lot, but it's really hard. And now look, okay, latest news, dun dun dun. Somebody's hacked the federal government database and gotten the Social Security numbers of every federal employee like that has ever been a federal employee. And so it's really, really hard because I don't know if there's any way to not get hacked at some point, not have your identity stolen at some point. So how do you know if you're a victim of identity theft, and what are you going to do about it? I think one of the neat things they've done is create a policy now where if someone files a tax return in your name, you can get a copy of it so that you can find out what's being done in your name. And I think that's kind of really cool. That's just to not do that at all. But now they're attempting to figure out other ways to validate the authenticity of the taxpayer and the information included on tax returns. A lot of people, I know several of my clients got letters from the IRS this year asking them to verify their identity, where they had to go to an IRS office and show off their passports, driver's license, Social Security cards, and those of their spouse and children, so that they could prove everybody who was there is actually there. And I know that is one really big thing that they're doing now. And I understand that it's pretty random. There are a few that are more random than others. For instance, if you took the earned income tax credit, you stood a greater chance of being part of their random look at that. They've had such a huge increase in the amount of fraud for people taking credit for kids that aren't theirs or that don't exist at all. So they're doing a lot of different things. They're aligning with different agencies in cybersecurity. They're attempting to work on taxpayer awareness and communication. Understanding that in 2016 the tax season is going to be a little tougher than it was this year, and it just gets tougher every year. It's really super sad because so much identity theft has occurred out in the world that it's really hard. I hit the button here to electronically file, and the IRS comes back and says this return is already filed, or the Social Security number or date of birth has already been used. So then we have to research and find out if it's already been sent or if it's identity theft or whatever. But when I was looking up the identity theft, one of the things I found, I don't know how many people here belong to Costco, but Costco is a pretty decent place to shop. But they also put out a monthly magazine, and I love their magazine. It is very informative. It surprised me when I first discovered some really informative, interesting, well-researched articles in there. Costco is not just about selling you fish. There's a lot of other things they're doing. I mean, now they're of course, increasing their products and such to include office supplies and bottled water and all kinds of different things. But they had an article in their one of their magazines, in their monthly magazine, and it was how will I know if I'm a victim of identity theft? And I thought it was kind of really super cool because they had some neat suggestions. Here are some signs you may be a victim of identity theft. You receive emails from companies you know that look suspicious or request your personal information, which, big no-no. Anybody requests your personal information over the internet or any banking information, that's for me. No, don't click on it. Don't send it. If you receive bills from medical providers for services you didn't receive, if you get calls from debt collectors, or they send you collection letters about debts that aren't yours. Now, I'm going to stick a point in here as well. Keep in mind, one of the things that occurs a lot is if you are in debt a lot and you're used to getting calls from collection agencies and such, You pick up the phone and there's that recording saying, hold on a minute, your call's important to us, or, you realize that it's probably from a debt collector. A lot of times your instinct is to hang up because you don't want to talk to them, but you never know when these kind of calls are going to be from a wrong number, in the fact that you were a victim of identity theft and they're telling you about something else that happened. And it's really important. Check your credit report and do that regularly to make sure there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. Anyhow, another on their list, of course, is the IRS notifying you that your tax returns were filed under your name. A lot of people these days are enrolling in one of those ongoing credit and identity theft monitoring services. That is really, really important thing because it's really one of the only ways that you're going to be able to tell if somebody is actually doing stuff that affects your credit report. So, it's a good thing. They're usually pretty inexpensive, and it's kind of really important. It's really nice. I get the emails, and they tell me that somebody's opened up a bank account in my name, or somebody that I've changed the passwords on my stuff, or you just get all kinds of notifications, and it's kind of really, really super interesting. As soon as and by the way, I use LifeLock. As soon as things happen, they notify you. When the Home Depot's breach happened back in October, I got notified right away from them before I even heard it on the news that Home Depot had been breached, and credit and debit card numbers had been stolen. So, it's kind of really super cool. And as I was talking about Costco also has a service called Total Protection, Identity Guard. So they have a really nice service to help you with your identity theft. Anyhow, we're supposed to be talking about taxes today, not just identity theft. And I kind of went off on one of my tangents because it's what I do sometimes. So flipping around, going through, I was looking for, we're going to talk about it in a minute, how to handle short time frame tax audits. The IRS, in its infinite not wisdom, has changed some of their procedures as far as audits go. But as I was looking for a couple other things, I did run across an article in the CPA Journal, and they stated that almost 1 million taxpayers still have not filed a federal tax return for 2011, and the refunds that are being held by the IRS are $760 million. Wow, $760 million. You have to stop and think about it. All those people who don't think they should file a tax return, or they don't know if they should, or whatever, I think, in my infinite wisdom, it's worth it to pay someone a very reasonable amount to find out if you're going to get a refund that you didn't realize you were going to get. A lot of people who don't make very much think, oh, well, it's not worth it to file a tax return. Hey, truly it is these days. I had someone who came in. She had heard me talking about back in March about 2010, and she just thought, well, why not just check it out? So she brought in her stuff for the last few years, and a couple of those years she was getting more than $1,000 back as a refund. So, worth it to file it. You never know until you do. So, okay. So we were talking about how to handle short time frame tax audits. The IRS has released a series of examination letters that limit the amount of time that a taxpayer is given to make contact and provide documents. In some cases, only 15 days are provided for a response before the audits are closed and sent to the Notice of Deficiency Unit. Okay. The Notice of Deficiency Unit basically means that you have to file an appeal and you have to go through tax court and you have to do a lot of other things. So it takes a lot of time, and I can tell you from experience, it can take up to 2 years to get things fixed once they've gone to the notice of deficiency unit. So, the IRS is going 15 days. Well, what happens if you're on vacation for 7 of those days, or out of the country, or vacation, business, whatever out is? What if the IRS has an outdated address for you and they send it to the wrong address? There's no way you're going to get that notice before that time runs out. So it makes it a little bit difficult. So biggest thing is, if you get a letter from the IRS, please contact your tax professional, whoever that may be, and I hope it's me, so that you can find out what exactly it is that you need to know. What do you need to send the IRS? What are they asking for? So review the letter, get the documents that they're asking for, or at least call the examiner right away and ask for an extension. Keep in mind that if you have a tax professional like myself, they have to have a power of attorney on stating that they are allowed to talk to the IRS or other state agencies on your behalf. So make sure that you have that with your tax professional, especially if you have a good long-term relationship. It's just a good thing to have on file in case anything like this turns up, because if you're out on vacation, you don't want to have to stop somewhere, figure out how to print out a form, sign it, and email it or fax it back. So it's just a good idea to have it on file if you have a relationship with someone like myself, which you should. If the due date's passed, then you need to call the examiner, find out if the case is still on their desk, and tell them that you want to work it. You want to get it done and taken care of, that you just got the notice and all that. So if it's already gone off to the NOD unit, then you need to pay the amount due or file a petition with the United States Tax Court, which provides the opportunity to appeal the decision already made and eventually settle the case through tax court. Oh, here it does say that. Once a case has been sent to the NOD unit, it can take 12 to 24 months of additional time to close the exam. So really, really important that when you get a letter from the IRS, that you open it up right away, find out what the IRS is requesting, needing, etc., and get it to them or get it to a tax professional immediately so that you can get it settled, taken care of. They're not giving us much time. Isn't that nice? No, that was sarcasm. In case any of you missed that, sarcasm. The IRS is not always nice. However, that doesn't mean just because something came in your day that made a little bit of a frown that you can't be happy.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like.
One of these days I'm going to have to play that entirety and several other songs I have on there, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Just lots of firework. I love that. Katy Perry. There's a lot of songs. But I just wanted to share a few things tax-wise with you this lovely Monday morning and keep you guys updated on the things that probably will affect you because they affect most everybody. Taxes, 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 and more tax stuff, as all roads lead to taxes. Again, as usual, as always, my very first consultation is free, so please feel free to give me a call or send me an email, and I will help you with your tax questions. And listen to some of the older shows, learn all about different things you can do as far as budgeting your money and saving money and how to track your money. Knowing is half the battle, and sometimes even more than half the battle. Because once you have it in your hand, once you know what you're dealing with, It makes it much, much, much easier to deal with. If you know that you have $5 when you go into the store, you're not going to be looking around the fish aisle for some lobster. You're going to be finding a bag of potatoes. Done that? I don't know why that popped into my head. Heard about that. Bag of potatoes or big thing of oats. Have some oatmeal for a while. Anyhow, knowing is half the battle in any situation at all. And it's really, really important that you know what you have, you know what you're working with, and that you know where you're going to. Do you know where you're going to? Yes. When you are deciding how big your business wants to be, you need to put a number to it. Put a number, create your goal, and it makes it much easier to get to if you know where you're going. Start creating that map, and that's what I help you with. It's creating a map to get to where you're going from where you are. So give me a call at any time. Send me an email, and we will sit down and have an appointment. Sit down and create the roadmap for you and your business success, and jump off and go from there. Because as a lot of these inspirational quotes say, if Plan A didn't work, the alphabet has 24 more letters. 25 more letters to stay cool. And if opportunity doesn't knock, go build a door. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and the rest of the day. And continue on. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.